Hi, hello, how are you? Amanda, Seint artist, and we're gonna do our makeup and we're gonna talk about color correcting because I have stuff. That's what I like to call it, stuff. Hyperpigmentation, rosacea, scarring, darkness, you name it, I probably got some, and so we're gonna talk about it. So I have oily skin, that's another thing we get to talk about a little bit, just gonna touch on my prep. This is Milk Hydro Grip and I really love it. You need just the tiniest amount and I really focus this right here, and then I put it everywhere else. It's because this is where my insecurities lie, is on my cheeks. That's where a lot of my problems, distractions are. So I always apply it here first and then bring it around. I'm gonna take a fluffy brush and I'm gonna go into my setting powder and I'm gonna prep where I get extra oily. Just like that. This just gives me a good base to start and it absorbs those oils because I get greasy quick. And creams do work with oily skin, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about color correcting. So let's get her started. All right, I'm gonna start with the only demi color I use on my face, and that's this guy right here. This is Y01. This is not a universal color. When it comes to demi, because they're pure pigmentation, it's really specific to the color you have. And for my under eyes, Y01 works beautifully. I'm going to show you another color that works. It's not demi because I like to give options. Demi is a one-trick pony. It is. I'm going to use my demi on a spot brush, the smallest amount, and I am going to use a mirror and I'm going to hit its point-to-point coloring. So you only need to put it where the discoloration is rather than around it. And I'm bringing it down my trough. I get really dark just in this inner corner. I'm going to flip it to the fluffy end and I'm going to tap it out. What this does is it neutralizes the color and it also gives me a brightness under my eye. I have natural shadowing. There's a little darkness in there, but you can't fix shadows. You can't. The next color I'm going to dip into is not a demi color. It is another option for correcting your under eyes, and it is Frenchy. This is a really great lip and cheek color, very neutral, very peach. This is what I used before demi came out. And you want this very thin. I put it on my finger, I put it on my darkness, and then I pull it out. I pull it down, I pull it out, and I put it under my eye. Now you can see here it's done two different things. This side has neutralized and brightened. This has neutralized. And I put a very thin amount with my finger and I just blend it out so it's like a veil of color. We are going to be putting our makeup on top of these colors, so we are not needing to put a full coverage of makeup on. We are only needing to neutralize. Our makeup is going to put the colors on and make us look beautiful. This is neutralizing. All right, the next color I'm going to go into is Aspen. Now this is why I don't recommend demi. Here is demi. It is a color point to point, pure pigmentation color. I don't recommend this on the base of your face if you are putting on your 3D makeup, and it is because they are creamy and they will move with your makeup, and I'm going to show you what I mean. All right, I'm gonna go into Aspen first. I like using these colors. So I have Aspen and I have Suede Lip Liner. These are great camouflaging, neutralizing colors, but they're dense. And that's where I use them. And that's why I use them, especially right here. They're gonna stay where I put them and they're gonna hold the makeup I put on top of them. It's gonna hold it there. I'm gonna show you Aspen first. This is a great neutralizer for redness, rosacea, and then I'm going to show you another one. But first, we're going to just sweep this over, and it's Veil Light. You want this just over your redness, into that inner crease, and down over that scarring. You want to neutralize the color. You don't want to cover the spot. Does that make sense? That should make sense to everybody. Raise your hand. Does that make sense? You want to still see your imperfections, your distractions. The redness is neutralized. That's it. I'm going to push some right up here. I want to show you demi really quick. This is going to be a really good show. I'm going to grab just my spot brush. I'm going to go on the fluffier end and I'm going to go into GY1. This is recommended for redness. We're going to sweep this over my redness, and I chose this side because it's where I have the most red distractions. Again, a veil amount does enough to neutralize it. I'm also going to go over my scarring here, and then you're still going to see it. Then we're going to grab my foundation. All right, I'm going to just grab some with this brush here. I'm going to grab my foundation, and when I start putting this on, my scarring pulls right back through. And that is because it's not going to cover it. The cream of the demi is not going to hold your makeup. It's not going to hold where you put it, and it's not going to hold your makeup on top of it the way that Aspen is going to because of the density. But you can see that pull right back through. It's just not going to give me the coverage that I want unless I really pile on makeup, which is going to create texture. The sign has said to stop. Okay, but this is why. This is exactly why I don't like using demi under my makeup. If you're going to use demi with your makeup, here's what I recommend. Do it on top. Doing it on top. I still believe in using the density though. The density colors like Aspen. So I'm going to go over my redness here. And again, we're still going to see the colors. I'm going to go into this and I'm going to grab some Aspen. I'm going to correct the redness over. Again, we're still going to see these colors. I'm going to do my whole face and then you're going to see the way that it covers, having this neutralized here. If it pulls through, you can certainly top it with some demi. Again, demi on top, not underneath. All right, next color I'm going to go into is suede. The reason I picked suede is this is going to camouflage my hyperpigmentation, and I picked suede because it's very similar to hyperpigmentation. It's similar to the color. I put it on the brush. This is a blend brush. This is a light application brush, and I like using this to apply my camouflagers. And so I have my hyperpigmentation there, you can see it, and I go around it, and I'm going to bring this up because I have more coming in around my brows. And this is typically where it really starts to pull through because they come from the sun and age. But I just am sweeping this and I'm draping this up to give it a natural warmth. So when I put my makeup on, it's going to look natural and not like I put a spot on my face out here. There's already a spot there. We're trying to camouflage it. We're not trying to cover it. Does that make sense? That makes sense. And it's dense. I do like this color as a lip liner. I like bolder lip liners, so I just use this to camouflage. It's whatever you want. This palette is for whatever you want, but this is also a great contour. This is a great lip liner. This is a great camouflager. I like colors that aren't one-trick ponies. I have some hyperpigmentation coming in up here. Not as bad as this side, but I still do the same thing on either side for balance. Really easy. All right, now we can go in and start doing our makeup. If you have scarring and redness on your chin, sweep that density. If it's highly textured, it's another reason why I do prefer using something dense, because it is going to hold your makeup there without having to add a lot onto it, because more makeup creates more texture. All right, let's do our makeup. The first thing I do, and this is kind of a troubleshooting when you're just getting into makeup, grab whatever brush you're going to use. I'm going to use the blush and bronzer brush, and you're going to go into your main highlight. This is the first color I say dip into. If you have discoloration on your cheeks, I start on the low point of my face and then I start stippling around. When I'm blending it out, I'm stippling, not swiping, and it's because I'm color correcting. And with color correcting, you don't want to sweep around and mix it together. You're wanting to tap it on top of it so that it look at that, and it just covers everything so nice. So nicely. This is going to hold my makeup where I put it. This is the only place that I put it. All I've done here is evened out my skin tone. I've blended this out. I've evened out my skin tone so it's not blotchy. Grabbing it more. Always tap into your makeup, and we're going to just tap around, and we're going to go right down towards the chin. I hit the lower part and then I come up, and I'm always coming up because I'm covering my distractions. This is the coverage that I want right there. If you ever feel like it's really pulling through, so you can see there's some pulling through, another great color for redness is mango. You can grab a little bit of mango and you can tap over and it will help camouflage it right there. It's super easy. I have redness on my nose. Let's grab a little bit of mango, and we're just gonna go over the nose and it's going to neutralize it. You see that? My nose is red, the mango does neutralize it. I prefer Aspen, mainly because of the density, but it doesn't work for everyone. It's very much into the troubleshooting. Mango is a great option for that, and I wanted to show that on my nose. All right, digging back into my makeup. The next color I'm gonna go into is my contour. And I like using my contour because it's mainly giving me some no-fly zones. And this is essentially one layer of makeup. I'm going to use the detail brush because it's a great contouring brush, especially if you're just getting into it. Always tap into your makeup. You don't want your bristles gunking together. That means you've done too much on your brush. And I am going to add this to either side of my face. Does not have to be tidy. This can be messy. You have your natural shadowing. We're gonna bump just above it. If you put this shadowy contour on your shadow, you're going to pull it down. This will blend into my natural shadow. If you put it right on, it's gonna make this uneven. I'm trying to figure out the right way to say it, but I will show you. If I'm putting it just above my natural shadow, and as I blend it, it will blend into my natural shadow. Such a hard way to use words. Okay, don't forget to blend up into your hairline. We're gonna keep this messy. All right, we're gonna keep it messy. I'm gonna go into the sides of my brush, and I'm gonna draw 2 straight lines on either side of my nose. I have a bump on my nose, so I tap. I really prefer the tapping method, especially when you have mature or maturing skin, because it helps get it into those fine lines. If you have larger pores, I know as I mature, of course my fine lines are starting to come in, but also my pores are starting to get more accentuated with time. I'm gonna grab a little bit on the edge here. I'm gonna go under my lip, right there. This is gonna give me a shadow, and it's gonna make my lips look a little fuller. And then I always go above my Cupid's bow right here. Just give myself a little Charles Chaplin here. Just like that. This is gonna give that illusion my lip is fuller without outer lining. That just, when you outer line, it looks like you're outer lining, and I find it very distracting. I'm gonna switch to the small end, and we're gonna go into our brightening, and I'm gonna tap this right here in between my brows, and I'm gonna sweep over each side, and that's it. I'm not gonna do my bridge until after I start blending. I am gonna hit a little on each side, so I hit these 2 peaks. This is a really beautiful area of your face, so you can accentuate it using a little bit of brightening. Tapping a little bit on the nose. All your brightening is like a concealer. It's a couple shades lighter than your skin tone. Not too far, because it can create texture. But this gives the illusion of reflecting light like we all naturally have. You have a 3-dimensional face, so let's put our makeup on like it's 3-dimensional. Okay? I'm gonna take this small end, I'm gonna go in again, and we are gonna do our under eyes. This is natural, this is normal. It's okay. We can easily accentuate it by applying it only to that area, and it's going to accentuate that puffiness. Instead, and we're tapping, I'm taking this small end, and I'm gonna go below the trough, and I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up, and we're gonna be camouflaging, grabbing a little more, and then I'm gonna pull up right here. This is gonna give my eyes some lift, but this is gonna camouflage puffiness, and it's gonna make me look like I'm a little more youthful and more awake. But if I focus it just right here, it's gonna accentuate that. I'm gonna tap on my orbital bone. I'm gonna blend this down and up on my orbital bone, and then up, and then I'll fill in. And we're gonna leave it just like that. I'm gonna fix this side. We don't need to blend everything all out yet. It's kind of the fun part about this tutorial. You're gonna see me blend it all together. Okay, I'm gonna show you a color I just discovered, and I've been absolutely in love with it. Muse Highlight. This is a highlight color, like for your face, for darker skin tones. It is such a stunning bronzer. So we're gonna put it on like a bronzer. I'm gonna switch to my blush and bronzer brush. We're gonna tap in, and I'm gonna put this right up here, and we want this where the sun naturally, well, not my hair, naturally tans our skin. So I'm tapping into it. I'm gonna go, I have my contour here. I'm gonna go above it right here. This is just a skosh cooler than Bella, and I love it. A lot of people like Icon. It makes me look like a pumpkin, but this color is just so pretty, and I'm starting to look a little crazy, and it's my favorite part is when I just look completely nuts. It's okay. I'm trying to look at my face. I'm gonna blend this because I wanna put blush on, but I really wanna show color correcting with your blushes. All right, so we're gonna start blending this. I always say, wait, I like which color do I want? Oh boy. All right, we're gonna start with this brush, this blush and bronzer. I like this brush because of this fluffy end here. I don't typically add product to this brush very frequently. I use this to marry everything together. So we're gonna take this and I'm gonna start with the darkest point on my forehead and I'm just gonna blend into that hairline and I'm blending out that contour and then I'm bringing in that bronzer into it. So I have dimension and I have warmth. Okay, we're gonna take this brush, I'm not cleaning it in between, and I'm gonna tap into that brightening and I'm gonna pull up and out. Do you see that? How it just blends together. This is why I didn't need a foundation color, this color here, up here, because look at how glorious that is. I'm taking this fluffy end and I'm just marrying it all. Look at that. That's a good looking forehead. It has that reflected brightness, it has coverage, it has dimension, it has the warmth, it has everything I need in one layer of makeup. So good. We're going to switch to this end and I'm going to do my nose and I'm going to tap, I'm pinching it. I'm going to tap this out. I'm going to push it towards my brows, following that natural shadowing. Your contour should follow your natural shadow line. I'm hitting my eyelashes and it's bothering me. Okay. Tapping around and then I'm going to bridge it together. Okay. Bridging it together. And here's my trick with my brightening. I'm going to use my pinky. We're going to grab it. I'm putting some on and I am going to draw with my phone as my mirror a straight line and then I'm going to hit my nose. And we are going to tap this out. I'm going to switch my finger. Once it's applied, we can tap it out. And this, when you have a bump or a crooked nose, drawing that straight line on after you've blended the contour just makes it nice. And you could bump this up and you can make it as bright as you want. It's whatever you want to do. I skipped this little part and it just restructures and gives me a button nose. Look at that cute button nose. It's amazing what brightening and darkening can do to things. It's just good stuff. You ever just feel your eyelashes out of sorts? Okay. Going back to my blush and bronzer, and I'm going to push into that contour. Now I'm holding this at an angle, and I'm pushing my contour into my cheekbone. Then I'm going to push up into that bronzer. I'm going to smile. I like having some bronzer in on my blushes, but I'm keeping this up high. This just gives you that, look at how pretty that is, the way it just starts coming together. It looked like this, and it turns into this, but do you see how it naturally falls into my natural shadowing? That's why if I were to put it on the shadow, it would pull farther down once I blend it out. So again, pushing into that contour at an angle onto your cheekbone and follow that natural flow of your cheekbone. Then I'm going into that bronzer. I pull it up to my temple to connect up to my forehead. Smile a little bit because you want to, as you mature, you lose volume into your cheeks. And again, you can't do your makeup like you did when you were in your 20s. So when you were in your 20s, you had those beautiful supple cheeks and you could just pound that stuff right onto them. Now, as I mature, I hang my color more towards the back and it gives me some lift and it's just pretty. Okay, I have that brightening staring at us right here. I'm just going to tap that out. I'm going to use my finger and I'm going to tap out my contour under and over my lip. As I'm doing that, I'm just going to tap over my high points. But do you see how this just accentuates and fills my lips? I don't have any color on my lips, but using this shadowing, it's so nice. It just gives the illusion of a curl. I'm going to take some more brightening, and after I've blended this out, I'm going to just hit the outer corners of my mouth. Looks like I just ate a donut. It's okay. It's okay. That's the point. We're going to tap it out. This creates a pout. So this is going to give my lips more of a fullness towards the middle. It's going to give them a pout. And it's also going to create contrast for whatever color I choose to put on my lip. I like a good neutral lip. I live in neutral city, to be honest. So I'm going to switch to the detail brush on the small end. You can also use the small end of the blend brush. Either work. But when you're messing with your under eyes, you want a smaller brush. And we are just going to tap out that brightening, bringing it down and bringing it over. You want very little product here. Less is more. But do you see how on this side I had used that Frenchie color under my brightening? Over here I had used that demi color that neutralized and brightened. By doing that, this side does look a little bit more bright. This side looks a little bit more natural. It's all about finding what you want out of your makeup. I'm gonna grab a little more, and I need to pull this down just a little. I like a really bright under eye. I use Versailles. It has some pink undertones to it, and I love it. It's so pretty. All right, let's take the fluffy end. If you ever feel, now everyone does this. I looked like a birthday cake for the first week. You probably may over apply. And if you know that now, you're gonna under apply. But take this fluffy brush and you just tap around. It blends everything together in a good final blend. But this will also, notorious right here, this is where I over apply. So I always take a fluffy brush and I just tap it out and blend it out, and it does such a beautiful job. I'm gonna take that fluffy and I'm gonna grab that Muse, and I'm gonna hit right down here. My neck is always lighter than the rest of my face, so I always add a little bit of bronzer to the top portion of my neck. If you're wearing a hoodie or if you're wearing a turtleneck and you feel there's gonna be transfer, grab that small end of your brush, grab your brightening, and instead you're gonna add brightening right here. You see how it's lighter, and just blend it out into your main, and it'll connect the two. It's really easy. I am gonna grab some contour now that everything's pretty much on. I'm gonna push up in front of my earlobe and down my jaw. This is just gonna give me some structure, some chisel, but I try to do this and blend this all at the same time. Otherwise, I do this a lot. I forget to blend it, and then somebody hopefully tells me, hey, you got some stuff on your face. More often than not, nobody tells me, and I'll have walked around, grocery shopped, gone and run errands, and nobody says a word, and then I look in the mirror for some weird reason, and I mean, this is a place you don't really, and then I'm like, oops. All right, let's talk about cheeks. If you have rosacea, if you have scarring, look at this balance. This is great balance. This is a nice dewy finish. If you have that redness and you really like a punchy cheek, I like a punchy. This color right here is Dahlia. It's one of my favorites. This color right here is Rosewood. It is a limited edition color. It may or may not be available. You've got to click the link in the description to check, because I don't know when you're watching this. But using these punchy colors, my redness and my scarring tend to pull through. So I have to use colors like Frenchie. This is where it's not a one-trick pony. Frenchie under my eye is a great blush color, but it also helps combat pulling that redness through, and I mix it with these and I ombre it out. Audrey is another really great color, and Bear is another limited edition color, may or may not be available depending on when you're watching this, is a really great color to work with your blushes. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Audrey is a great color, limited edition. There is another one coming out, Cotton Candy. We'll likely do the exact same thing I'm going to show here, but I wanted to show Frenchie first because this one's always available. I'm going to pop this on my cheeks, on the apples. This is where my distractions are. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab, let's grab Audrey. It's so pretty. Or if it's out, try Cotton Candy or Frenchie. Saint Tropez is another really good one. We're going to pop that one right here. Two very different colors doing the exact same thing. I have a little hyperpigmentation that likes to pull through, so I'm just going to touch it right on there. Let's go into Dahlia. It's punchy, and this one always grabs my scarring through, and it's just so good. So I'm going to grab some with my finger, and I'm going to hang this up here. Okay, way up here. We're going to really punch it up. Punching it up, pop, 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 pop. On the high points, we're gonna take this blush and bronzer brush, and I'm gonna start on Dahlia, and we're just gonna blend this up towards the temple, smile so you can see exactly where all the cheekies are, and then bring it down into Audrey. This is also a beautiful lip color together. Line your lips with Dahlia, fill it in with Audrey or Cotton Candy or Saint Tropez or Frenchie, whatever the light tones are. Ballerina is another really good one. Petals, another really good one. But I like outer lining and ombre. I like using two colors to do one. So again, starting on that, bringing it into Frenchie, and you get the same work. Two colors. So down here, this is a little more natural, neutral. This has that peachiness of Frenchie, and it's just so good. Flip it to that fluffy and marry it all together for one last swooshy swoosh, and you get the results. I like Frenchie because it's not a one-trick pony. This helps. It's a beautiful blush color, beautiful lip color, great for under eye correcting. Demi is great. I love it. I love this. I do it all the time. I prefer it over Frenchie because I like a punchy under eye where it's nice and extra bright. All right, we're gonna line our lips. We're gonna go in with the multitasker brush, and I am gonna go in with Dahlia, and I'm gonna line my lips with Dahlia. Look at how it's such a bright pink, and you can just use this one on its own, but using it with whatever cheek color you really love, it just goes so darn well together. All right, grabbing that in. I don't outer line my lips. I just don't. It's a distraction for me. If somebody else is, I'm probably staring at it. Sorry. I'm using satins, so I'm gonna grab some of this Demi Balm, Demi Gloss, lip conditioner, whatever you want, and I'm gonna fill this in because I get so dry and chapped, probably because I talk too much, who knows. I put that on first, and then I'm gonna go into what color? Let's use colors let's stick with this side. This is a really pretty cheek over here, so I'm gonna grab that Frenchie, and I'm gonna fill it in right here. And it just makes this really, I hate pouting my lips at you guys, duck facing, if you will, but look at how well those go together. That's a beautiful color. And you can see that shadowing I added is still showing because I didn't outer line my lips on top of it. That's why I like shadowing. It works the way people want overlining to work, but in a natural way. And my lips look full, they look natural, they look injected, I think. Tell me if I'm wrong, I don't know, but I think they look fuller. I think they look very pretty, and that's that. I am gonna take my setting powder now, because again, I'm oily. I'm gonna take that powder brush right here, this fluffy end. I start on the perimeter of my face, and then I work my way in. But this is why I like using dense products under my makeup. If you want to use Demi, apply your makeup like normal. If you don't want to do this, that's okay. It's not wrong. I'm not here to tell anybody they're doing anything wrong because it's your face, and if you feel good, you're doing it right. You're doing it right if you feel good. All right, if you want to use Demi, I say apply your makeup like you have nothing wrong with your skin. Then you can go and take a spot brush, and you can take your Demi, and you can go over and fix whatever you want. If you want to add, I'm going to go into my Y01 that I have right here, which is this guy. It looks so different when it's in with my other Skittles, but I'm going to grab it with the fluffy end, and I can easily tap over, and I can touch up that brightening to match. And I'm just sweeping it over. Again, pure pigmentation, so you need so little, but look at how it's just going to start lifting and matching the other side so nicely. All right. Matched it up. If you have any, I have a little bit of pigmentation showing through. This one is really tough for me. I'm going to go into RO. Okay, let's take a look at these. ROOR. You see how this one's more pink, this one's more orange. I'm going to go into RO, red, orange 1. It's a level 1, so it's light. I'm going to tap right on top of exactly where the color is showing through, and then I'm going to tap it out, and it's gone. It's gone. I'm going to do the same thing over here on this scarring. I can see it a little bit. It's a high traffic area. There's a lot of movement. And then I can just tap it out and it's gone. Demi's great on top. This will move and I will probably have to touch it up in a few hours. I'm not a fan of it under my makeup. It just doesn't have the longevity that makes me happy, that makes me feel good if I know I'm going to be out in front of people for hours. I don't want to know that that's probably moved. So I like using something more dense and putting it on. And then you can easily take a light application brush like the blend brush. And I'm going to tap some onto the fluffy end, tap it off. And then you just go over, really tap it off. You don't even want to see that it's on your brush. And then you just tap over it and it just gives you a little bit more longevity with it. There you go. If you've tapped into powder, and you still don't see it, it's definitely there. Don't let it fool you. When it looks empty, that's when you can hit those creasy areas. Mine's right here. definitely right here. And then last is my eyes. You can easily crepe that area. All right, that's it. I know this is one of my longer tutorials, but this is a color correcting video. Urban Decay D-Slick, that is my favorite. Charlotte Tilbury is good too, but D-Slick, wow. D-Slick is, wow. It's a volumizer. D-Slick, it has oil control and it's really, really good. You can even go in after you've powdered once and just press it in with that fluffy brush, and then whatever's left in your brush as far as powder goes, I think it kind of works with the D-Slick, and you get, this is a good looking makeup, okay guys? And I love the way that color correcting makes me feel. And that's all that matters. Okay, that's it. That's my makeup. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day.